Okay, so I had, uh, um, I must add that the message of expectation of something terrible, I started doubting it because I found myself in a hostile environment that I had to move from. So I started wondering if the word that I received just before the beginning of this year was actually concerning the position that I found myself in, or it was concerning the larger area in general. But however, in as much I tend to believe it's both because that is the feeling and the understanding that I got from it. Currently, I'm living near a mountain, and like most of you who look at mountains and have and awe at the beauty of nature, when I look at mountains or mountain ranges, this I'm in the Mount Kenya area. People don't seem to want to acknowledge that this is a range of mountains which runs from all the way from Isiolo to Gatundu to even actually throughout the Rift Valley. I consider them I consider them connected to each other, probably formed at the same time. So when I'm in the vehicle going through from one city to another, while some of you may be looking at the dangerously hanging rocks and suspended dust, red dust on the sides of the mountain where the roads have been carved out of, what usually goes in my mind is the formation, how it all came to be, what was happening before, how were the people who lived here. I relive the experiences in my imagination, and this could have happened ages and ages ago. I imagine that there could have been houses that stood just a few layers beneath the red soil. You know, there's a time I visited the crater called Ngorongoro in Tanzania. And just a distance from the place is a place where the archaeologists Dr. Leakey and Mary Leakey discovered some remains of the early man in quotes. I saw those skeletons. They don't look like people. They don't even look like. They looked like something that had something living inside them that is not quite human. Who knows? Maybe that's where the early man came from. But the spirit of that of those species that have been dug were not the same as the spirits of the men that are on the earth currently. Okay, so anyway, well, there's a possibility that we may carry some DNA from these what I would call humanoids, or the ages that are past, that were destroyed, but whatever happened, that buried them. You know, we were taken to a site where they were being dug out, and it will be a place that was a few stories high. On the top will be red soil, obviously from impact, then pulverization of the soil, which then settled. Then there will be sandwiched inside a layer of ash that was somewhere in between layers of natural soil, indicating that whatever happened was probably preceded by a burning. Okay, I'm trying not to say everything so that the video cannot be banned, but if you know, you know. I had spoken earlier about prepping becoming a thing, becoming widely accepted and widely practiced. Okay, this was in January, the last week of January, that I saw this dream, and the entire country was aware of the need to start preparing for basically for disaster. And this is something that I found very encouraging. Just knowing people are getting ready and are anticipating what is to come and are not being found flat-footed and unprepared. Then comes the ocean. I think I just have an affinity to the ocean because the ocean managed to reach this as far as inland as I am. So earlier I had spoken of the terrain of this place, and I had a kind of a flashback to many years ago, before the mountains and before the red soil, and I could see that the land was, if you've been to towards the northern side of the northern side of Kenya, especially if you go northwards from the Mount Kenya region and start reaching the flat areas which are very rocky. That's exactly what I saw as the terrain of the land before the coming of the mountain. So semi-arid, rocky, very rocky. It was in the evening, so the sun wasn't so harsh. It was sweet on the skin, but it wasn't a very fertile land. And it's no wonder that most people believe that there's some spiritual significance. For example, if you talk to one of the major communities that is around this area, they tend to associate the beginnings of their society with the mountains, which means that it's revered as a place where God lives, or something like that. So, as I was standing on this land in awe, wondering, is this the same land that is now so fertile and so green, so foresty, with so much potential? Then as I stood there, I started getting the understanding that something was coming. There was something on the horizon that was about to hit the place. This is one of the reasons that I like holding on to announcing revelation or dreams, because you'll find one piece in this dream and one piece in another. So there's something coming, and it's not earthly. It's celestial. It's celestial in nature, and it will be just as earth shaking as the period of the coming of the mountain was. That's the kind of earth shaking that the understanding that I had was giving me. So this as I was standing, I was looking at I was on the eastern side of the mountain, or the ranges of the mountain. I consider them as ranges because it's not one thing going. There are many craters, which I'm sure most people will argue with. There are many points of impact, many hills and mountains, and obvious traces of spewed lava, some of which was flowing in the form of rivers down the mountains, in which parts right now you'll find natural rivers and springs, which is it makes sense, because if a crater was created so deep to the extent that it punctured to the wells that live beneath the earth, apart from that, there's a spirit. I don't know if you follow some of these near Earth objects. Most of the time, when there's a huge asteroid that is coming towards the Earth, they usually announce, if they deem it as a danger, they usually announce that they are sure that the orbit is going beyond. It will not touch the Earth, the major asteroid, but many times, if the rock is big enough, they usually say that, and I'm talking about a stadium kind of big, the kind of big that would hit the Earth and split it from the northern part of Africa to the southern African part. I hope you're following me. So that kind of an impact would require a very big rock. And one of the things that there are even bigger rocks, the size of several, sometimes they could say it's several sizes, the size of the Empire State Building. And it's one of the reasons that we have a Space Force, which is allegedly from many conspiracies, was created to defend the Earth. against very big sized rocks. I don't know what that will do. It will just, I don't know. Have you watched Don't Look Up? Everybody should, because it's saying what I'm trying to say. So remember, these are extraterrestrial objects. Some of them are pieces of planets that were destroyed maybe billions or maybe recently. Probably billions of years ago, because most of the rocks are burnt. They're hardened. And they've been going around for thousands of years, some even millions. So just the fact that they're coming from other planets should indicate that there could be a foreign spirit. I don't know why I would say foreign, because I don't consider, yeah, okay, let's say foreign spirit, because it's a spirit that has not, wasn't originally meant to be on this part of the universe that we are in existence. But you will imagine the impact of that big rock, and you don't know what it was when it was on the other side. It could have been a living organism that became petrified in the journey. So, or it could be just a piece of land, and we know pieces of land are not always, they're not always pure. So when you go to these villages where people are worshiping a mountain, and they're saying that there's something, they've turned the mountain into godlike status, it's important to pay attention to what they're talking about. They're not being stupid, because there's a foreign thing that may have been infused, married into their earth, and the spirit, it becomes the spirit that reigns over the region. And if they are accompanying asteroids, which means that these are pieces that got split due to the wear and tear of the space journey or collision with other things in the space, you'll find that they will come with a new spirit, basically, and that's what I'm saying. And some of them, that new spirit could be, could have some attributes that bring something new to the land that wasn't previously there, maybe an infection or anyway. So I'm saying that to say that an area where you'll find a range of mountains, you'll find there's a spirit which rules over the area, because it's been infused into the earth, and it's been released with the action of the impact and volcanism or pulverization of the earth. So basically, saying that to say that there's something unique about every mountain range, and not just Mount Kenya. And I believe that is what folklore is trying to say when they say that the mountain descended from the heaven. That's a descent from heaven. It was an asteroid. Okay, and the earth has been here for billions of years, and the earth has sustained. In those billions of years, the earth has been sustaining life, has had thousands, or hundreds, or tens, thousands of disasters, tens maybe, of major disasters. If you look at the Hindu theology, they say that there are various disaster cycles which increase with intensity. There's one which is a billion years disaster, comes every 1 billion years. That's a big one, and it affects everything, destroys the entire universe. Then there's one that happens a few 100,000 years, a major one that destroys pockets. It doesn't happen to the entire universe, it just destroys pockets of the universe. There's another one that happens tens of thousands of years, which is most of the time will affect an area as huge as a solar system. Remember, the solar system is not the only system in the universe with planets which are surrounding the sun. So as we're having our own thing and our 12,000-year-old disaster, neighboring, I would say solar systems, for lack of a better words, but some suns have their own names, like Betelgeuse, like even our very own red planet, which is whose existence is contested. We have, I'm forgetting their names, but we have various suns. Some of them are as bright as our sun. Some of them are what we call red planets, or red dwarfs, or brown dwarfs, or white dwarfs, depending on the energy that they are emitting. So everything that is, because they have their own climate of planets that is rotating around them. Then there's, so the last, if you're an ardent reader of geography, you may have read about the Younger Dryas and the melting of the ice sheets. And there's a disaster period that is attributed to a 10,000 year cycle. And by science, religion like Hindu religion attributes it to 12,000 year cycle. And also ancient scripts like, I'm not sure if the scripts of Enki attribute it to a specific period, but they talk a lot about the flood and preparation of both men and of what somebody who was interpreting decided to call Anunnaki or gods. So this the last from the melting of the ice sheet, it is believed that we are just coming out of an ice age, and it is expected that the conditions that led to the ice age, which could include the eruption of the sun, otherwise known as a nova, thanks to interaction of foreign objects with it, or twin, the concept of a twin sun, which is widely accepted in the scientific community. In other solar, which I've said we will call for solar systems, but they have their own names. They're not all called the sun. So scientists believe that most of the systems are twin. So you'll find a sun has another sun that's not really a sun, with almost equal intensity or even stronger intensity. But this second object is a red dwarf, which means it's not emitting the light, but the intensity of the electromagnetic energy that is coming from it is even stronger than the electromagnetic energy that is coming from the sun. And I will give you a homework to follow the solar news. We have channels that follow or name themselves solar weather channels or solar weather news or whatever. You'll find that whenever there's a flare, there'll be an electric shock on the grid to whatever region that is facing the sun. You'll find that internet will sharply decrease. The internet speed will go to 0 for a few minutes, then start climbing up slowly, depending on how intense it was. So imagine that on a mega level. If the intensity is increased, the effects on the planets that are close to the sun can lead to extreme weather conditions that in turn lead to sudden formation of ice sheets, sudden winter moments appearing on otherwise hot places, because our normal heating system has lost so much energy that instead of protecting us, it's sending the protective cover, which is the shiny thing that we've been seeing. The shiny thing is like a cloud on the sun. When there's intense activity on the sun, you'll see that the shield gets stripped. And it's usually very small patches on the sun. Now imagine if the entire thing was stripped. It will be days of electric shocks, probably even what is it called? Something akin to a continuous electric lightning thing that sometimes you've seen happen between Mercury and an object that does not exist. You'll find that the object and Mercury form a tail and attach to Mercury as it goes round, and then releases the tail. So you can imagine the contents of the tail will be something, maybe lava, but whatever it is, it will be molten, and it will be hot because it's heated by something akin to microwave that is multiplied 1,000,000 times over, because this is an object with great massive energy. Okay, so that takes us to the end of February. And to avoid the video being too large, I'll stop there and start with March next time. So remember to subscribe and share. And if you have any thoughts, share also.